Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I hope you had a good weekend. We didn't have a lot of boxing over the weekend, did we? But there were a couple of things to talk about, and I think one of them, well, probably the obvious one, was Shakur Stevenson versus Jamel Herring. Now, before the fight, I thought Stevenson would win on points. That was my prediction. As it happens, Stevenson stopped Herring in the 10th round, and it was pretty much one-way traffic. Yeah, kind of a beat down, a beating up, whatever you want to call it. But people have been saying since the fight that Herring has really come of age, and he looked fantastic, and he looked brilliant. And other people are saying, no, you're getting carried away. Herring was an overachiever, which I think is accurate. Good fighter, but you know, let's not get too carried away here. My view is that the truth is both of those things. Like most things in life, it's probably somewhere in the middle. You know what I mean? Like, there's no doubt that, as I say, Herring was an overachiever, good fighter. You know, no real weaknesses. But in his previous fight, he beat Carl Frampton, who to me was always too small to be a super feather. And maybe that result flattered to deceive, because I picked Herring to beat Frampton. I just thought Frampton I got the feeling he had one foot in retirement and was just too small for that super featherweight division. So good result for Herring, but going in against Stevenson, it was a different proposition. Some people picked Herring before the fight because Stevenson himself had looked very uninspired in previous performances, especially against an African guy, Nakathala. I've got his name wrong. I really should start doing some research for these videos before I, you know, before I hit the record button. But you know the fight I mean. Previous fight for Stevenson, he won a unanimous 12-round decision. Nakathala, I think the guy's name was. And he just didn't show anything. And more to the point, he was boring. And when fighters look boring, people immediately get turned off and they say so-and-so's overrated, so-and-so's, you know, they're not all they're cracked up to be. Well, we shouldn't confuse excitement with competency, because someone like Jamel Herring was a brilliant technical fighter, very, very well schooled, but by no means the most exciting fighter you've ever seen. And the question was Shakur Stevenson going to fall into that category? Was he going to be a guy who kind of won fights in a dull manner, technically good, but didn't pick up any fans because he just wasn't very nice to watch? Well, he turned that on its head against Herring, because he was absolutely dominant. And from the first round, Herring was struggling to find any kind of way in. He couldn't get close. He couldn't control a range. Throughout the fight, Stevenson was picking his punches very well, varying them well, disguising the punches well, landing by far the heavier, more hurtful punches. He took a few rounds to really get his engine moving. But the only way Herring was going to win this fight was if he let his hands go, like in an Aaron Pryor style, for 12 rounds. And that wasn't going to happen, because it's impossible to do that, virtually impossible to do that. And he was going to have to soak up a lot of punishment, even if he succeeded in doing that. So it was one-way traffic, and Stevenson really did look excellent. He didn't put a foot wrong, didn't put a punch wrong. Herring, he had a go sort of in the middle rounds. He was slinging more punches. His corner were telling him, you've got to throw more punches. You know, you've got to just roll the dice. And unfortunately, he just couldn't do it. Wasn't able to do it, but he wasn't allowed to do it by a very impressive Shakur Stevenson. So, you know, this young kid, Stevenson, I think is 24, I think, and Herring is in his early 30s, 33. Herring's probably, he might get another chance for a title off the back of being a champ, because he made a few defences, but he's probably at the back end of his career. Stevenson has taken a huge leap forward in his career and has attracted a lot of attention with this excellent victory. Did you see the fight? Did you stay up late if you're in the UK like I did? If so, what do you think? Do you think people are jumping the gun a bit with Stevenson, or do you think that this is a fight, this is a win that, again, flatters to deceive, in this case Stevenson? Again, my opinion is that the truth is probably a bit of those things, somewhere in the middle there. Leave your comments below, leave your thoughts below. I think Stevenson looked fantastic. And some people said that the fight, the stoppage, which was in the 10th round, a couple of people said, and it looks a bit premature, but I think the referee stopped the fight because, not because of any particular one punch, but because Herring was just taking a sustained beating, and by the end of it, his face was busted up, and he looked like he wasn't going to quit. The guy's is he a former Marine? I know he was in the military. He's got that Semper Fi nickname. So he's a gutsy guy. He ain't scared of much. But sometimes you've got to save people from themselves. So well done to Stevenson. Onwards and upwards for him. Looks like he's got a great career ahead of him. 2-weight world champ. He's only a kid. He's only had not many fights at all. Only had less than 20 fights. And there's more to come from him. What did you think? Leave your comments below, and I'll catch you later. You have a good day. Bye-bye.